giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live. We stream it live on YouTube, on Facebook, and of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! What's happening, Cowboys Nation? Oh, we running that thing back today. Today, we take a look at the Cowboys schedule. We're going to line them up, knock them down. Got some opinions on certain parts of that schedule. And I want to hear from your opinions on it as well. In the roundup, Coach Fossil speaks. He talks about the kicker. He's pretty damn frank about the kicker, so we'll dive into that a little bit. And later on, we'll have the Aisha Morrison of DallasCowboys.com coming through, letting us know what she saw down there at Cowboys rookie training camp. Jam-packed show, man. Should be a good one. And can't wait to get all the way into it. What's good, Bomb Squad?
Bomb Squad!
How y'all doing? I love it, Caustic. I love it. That's Vach says this all the time. 17-0 until they beat us. I love it. That ain't what I'm going to predict. But I do love it. And you know what? I don't even like predicting records, to be honest. However, I do have a prediction in my Hattie B's hot take later on. So make sure y'all stick around for that. Should be a good one, y'all. How we doing in this chat? Let's see here. We got Iceberg Q, Mark Smith, the Lando Show. What's good, Lando? Jameson Taylor, hope all is well. Columbus Hill, Sir Lawrence in the building, Miss Sadika, CJ, I see you, Rolo. 6 to midnight, Captain America. Salute to you, sir. Swain in the building, Professor O, J.A., Timo 419, Tom Downey burnt. So he's not toxic anymore. He's not all in anymore. He just Tom Downey burner account. He's settled down. Tom is settled all the way down. I can dig it. We're kind of in that weird, not really exciting period, but not dead period, kind of in the middle time. So I got you. I got you, man. What's good, Dallas Cowboys hard hitter? And the many more coming through. Appreciate y'all for joining me this morning. Like I said, yesterday we were going to talk rookies, and we did a little bit, but some things came up, but it's cool. We got Miss Aisha coming back through today. And we'll dive into what she saw down there. And if we can kind of get some insight on what they're going to do with some of these rookies, because a lot of them are not really going to be starters. Some of them won't even be key contributors, but there is a way to kind of look at what they could potentially be or how they will use them. So we'll get into all that with Miss Aisha later on. Before, though, I want to talk about this damn schedule and what John Fossil had to say about the kicker. So let's get into it.
It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time!
It's time.
It is time for...
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Hey, yo. Coach Bones Fossil said, anybody but Brett Maher. No, maybe it comes back. We'll see. But Coach Fossil talked to all the coordinators talked to the media the other day, and they asked him about the kicker situation, and he had a couple quotes here. Here's the first quote on the potential bodies available. He said, quote, "Well, we've got Tristan on the roster," and they do have Tristan on the roster. "Anybody else on earth who is not on the team right now is under consideration." That's everybody, really. That could be a lot of different guys that we're still looking at. XFL, USFL, veterans on the street, the younger guys who still haven't found a way. End quote. And this past weekend, there was a kicker in the USFL by the name of Luis Aguilar. Mr. Luis Aguilar went 8 for 8 It made kicks of 55, 56, 51, and 49. Hey, Bones, I'll be picking up that phone if I was you. Be picking up that phone. So just like we said before about the situation, I think they will 100% bring in multiple kickers for camp, and those guys will duke it out. Well, what about veterans? What are some of the guys you might be interested in, Mr. Bones Fossil? This is what he had to say. There's veterans on the street right now. Let's face it. There's Mason Crosby. There's Robbie Gold. There's Ryan Suckup. There's a lot of guys that have performed at a good level in the NFL. And you weigh that against everything else. There's really no secrets of who's available. I think the good thing for us at kicker is just being patient and deciding who that second guy is we're going to bring in, whether it's now or training camp to compete with Tristan, end quote. So it's clear, and he just laid it out for you, they will bring in another guy to compete with Tristan Vizcaino. I believe that's how you say it. I could be saying that wrong. Nonetheless, it feels like they are out on Brett Maher. And we've had this discussion before. When the mental goes, I go with him. I don't think that I'm willing to bring him back because it felt like he was just mentally damaged. Now he did revive his career because he went through an issue before with Dallas. Went to New Orleans, kind of figured himself back out, came back to Dallas and had a good regular season. However, if he was in consideration, Bones Fossil would have said his damn name. So he probably is not in consideration. They'll look at one of these veterans, or they'll look at one of these young guys. Man, look, this Luis Aguilar kid, man, I don't know what else he did. I haven't done all the digging on him, where he's from, what he's done prior. But 8 for 8 with 4 field goals, 50 or above, 49 yards or above, 3 of them 55, 56, 51, and a game winner of 55. I'd bring him in. Moving on to the schedule. Once again, it's time to abort. No, Cowboys once again lead the league in primetime games. These people could talk about how they don't like the Cowboys. They could talk about how they hate the Cowboys. You don't hate us. You love us. You love to watch this team, whether we win or lose. And the league knows that. We are the moneymakers. So they have, I believe, 7 primetime games this season, which, if y'all know me, I can't stand it. I can't stand. I hate primetime games. The older I get, the more and more I hate primetime games. Don't get home till 12, 1 in the morning, depending on how long the game goes, because you got the post-game show, wherever we're at. Like, the atmosphere is fun, but I can't stand how late they are. But it is what it is, man. Dallas Cowboys will be on live or be on standalone 6 or 7 times this year. A bunch of Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night football games. Plus, obviously, you have the Thanksgiving game against Washington again this year. If I'm not mistaken, last time they played them in Thanksgiving, y'all correct me if I'm wrong here, 2016? Did they play them prior to that or after that? I'm sorry. On Thanksgiving, I know 2016, that was Dak's rookie year. And I remember that game vividly. But let's go ahead and take a look at this schedule real quick. Just a quick look at the schedule, and then I'll kind of give my opinion on certain parts of the schedule and my hot take. They open up the season with the New York Giants. Go figure. At this point, it seems like every other year, this is what the NFL schedule makers want to do. They stay with another New York team, New York Jets, week 2 at home. They open up the home opener against Aaron Rodgers. We'll get to that in a second. Week 3, they travel to Arizona, followed by another home game against the New England Patriots. So they go away, home, away, home. And that's kind of where I want to start this thing at real quick. Let's take a pause. I should say stop this thing at and discuss my hot take here. I don't like to do number record predictions because I always think this team is a double-digit win team, and the regular season really doesn't matter for them It's about how they're playing heading into the postseason so they can go on a postseason run. This team is always healthy, if they're healthy, always a double-digit win threat team, and they'll likely be another double-digit win team. I'll ask you guys, though, when we get done with this whole exercise. But when I look at the first part of the schedule, I have a hard time not getting ahead of myself, and I'm going to go ahead and call this my hot take here. I do think the Dallas Cowboys start off the season 4-0. I do. And you may say, well, Scott, that's not much of a hot take. The teams aren't that great. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But here's why I think it's a hot take. That damn Aaron Rodgers in week 2. The Cowboys just seem to not be able to get over the hump of Aaron Rodgers. He goes to a team that has a really damn good defense, some young players on offense to get with. But that damn Aaron Rodgers, you can never guarantee a victory against Aaron Rodgers. However, with this hot take, I am. And here's why. I think it's early in the season. They'll still be figuring things out. And if we know one thing about Aaron Rodgers, he gets upset with young players. He don't like young players. He don't like when they mess up. He's in a new offense, although it's really not that new. Nathaniel Hackett's his guy over there. But nonetheless, he got new players and whatnot. So I think the Cowboys at home, getting Aaron Rodgers early, might have a slight advantage. But I ain't guaranteeing too much. However, for this hot take purposes, I'll take this dub. So you got week 1. Cowboys have the Giants number. Dak Prescott hasn't lost to the Giants since 2016? They've won 10 in a row against the Giants. Week 3, you've got Arizona, who probably won't have Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray tore his ACL late in the season last year. I doubt he'll be ready by week 3. They got a new coach. The Cowboys should handle that. Then they come back home against the Patriots. The Patriots just aren't that good of a team to me. Mac Jones, not Brock Purdy, but Mac Jones, the other kid. Who's going to be the quarterback there? Whoever the quarterback is, I don't think they're that damn good. So I think the Cowboys can head into San Francisco for the divisional rematch. Looking for revenge. 4-0. And that is my Hattie B's hot take today, guys. No conversation about the best Nashville style hot chicken is compete without a serious mention of Hattie B's. Founded in Midtown Nashville in 2012, Hattie B's is known nationally for its authentic Nashville hot chicken. And they now have a new location in the Dallas, Texas area, Deep Ellum downtown to be specific, that serves up varying levels of heat from southern, mild, medium, hot to the Daredevil's dream. Shut the cluck up. So check out the new location in Dallas today or order for pickup and delivery at HattieB.com. Make sure you use the link in the description. Create a free Hattie B's rewards account and receive $10 as a gift card. It's free. It's easy. Do me a favor. If you do that, let me know. HattieB.com. Sign up for the free rewards account. Get a $10 gift card. Let's get back to this schedule real quick. Now, before I move on to the rest of the schedule, some of the things I like and don't like. Is 4-0, does that feel too daunting there? And if we're being honest, right? If we're being honest, the only reason why we be questioning 4-0 Cowboys Nation, as I'm looking to y'all in the chat, is because of week 2, right? Like, this is the only reason why we'll be questioning the Cowboys starting potentially 4-0. It's because of Aaron Rodgers, the Cowboy killer, the bad man, whatever you want to call him. Because the rest of these games, again, we got the Giants number. Arizona and the New England Patriots don't seem to be that big of a threat to me. That'd be my only kind of. I'm super confident in all these other games. That one is more of the toss up to me because of Aaron Rodgers. I'm gonna just be honest. All right, let's move on to some of the things I don't like about the schedule, and I do like about the schedule. One of the things I don't like about this schedule, I don't like starting off 4 of their first 6 games on the road and finishing 3 of 4 on the road. I don't like that. The 4 games to begin the season before the bye week, by the way, at New York, at Arizona, at San Fran, at LA Chargers, which that is probably, and I know this is going to sound crazy because you lost to San Francisco. So that's a huge revenge game. But is the Chargers game the biggest circled game on the schedule for y'all? Or is it San Fran because they knocked you out and you want to get revenge? I feel like even if you beat San Fran in the regular season, it ain't about beating San Fran in the regular season. You want to beat San Fran in the postseason. But boy, that Chargers game. Kellen Moore, Karen Moore, Mike McCarthy, Dak going against his guy, Dan Quinn going against that team, against that coordinator, I mean. It got to be that game, y'all. So it's San Fran for a couple, y'all. For me, it's the Chargers. For me, it is the Chargers. San Francisco, look, I know you can say, well, Scott ain't had a quarterback in 2 years and they beat the Cowboys. That's fair. That's fair. But the quarterback situation, what is it? The defensive coordinator is gone. So that could change a little bit, although they seem to be able to churn out good defense coordinators. But nonetheless, the defensive coordinator is gone. I'm less worried about Kyle Shanahan, honestly. I'm less worried about what Kyle Shanahan is going to do because Dan Quinn seems to have a decent handle on Kyle Shanahan. It's what is their defense going to look like under their new coordinator? They got the players now. Like they got the horses. But even if you win or lose that game, to me, it's like, all right, see us in the play. We want to beat y'all in the playoffs. You don't get a chance to play the Chargers in the playoffs. You get a chance. And best believe Kellen Moore is going to pull out all the stops to try to beat his former team that he played for and coached for. I don't know if this is fair to say, but over the last 2 years, ever since Dan Quinn got here, it seemed like during practices, during training camp, this Cowboys offense constantly struggled against Dan Quinn. And that's practice. That's training camp. Different players over there, I totally get it. But I feel like we're going to find out if Dan Quinn has Kellen Moore's number. I feel confident in that. I feel confident in Dan Quinn and the Cowboys going into the Chargers, which that is going to be a home game, by the way. Think about this for a second, y'all. The Charger fans, they don't give a damn about this. Cowboy fans do. Cowboy fans know who's coaching over there. Cowboy fans have some slight animosity towards the guy that's there because of how things ended up seemingly every single year. The back half of the season, we're saying what? Man, this offense looking weird. Why are we running double shot, triple reverse? Why are we running in the annexation of Puerto Rico? Why did we stop running for the last 4 seasons? So Cowboy fans, there's something at stake here. And that's going to be a home game. I have that one circle right there. So let's move forward past the bye week. You get Philly at Philly week 9. So you get them early November. Shouldn't be a bad weather game. And then we get to the part that I do like. I feel like the best stretch after the season, the first quarter of the season is right here. Week 10 to week 14. You get 4 of the 5 games are at home. And then the road game is against a rookie quarterback, new head coach, Carolina Panthers. Washington on Thanksgiving, but you get the chance to stay at home for a 3-game stand. I love that. So you don't have to travel back and forth. It's not Carolina week 11, go home week 12, fly to New Orleans or fly to Seattle for week 13 on the road, come back home. There is no back and forth. Once you come back from the Carolina game, you get the home game, with the Washington football people, which you've normally play on Thanksgiving. You understand how that feels, but you stay home. You stay home for, honestly, the next 3 games are against good opponents. Well, if we're being honest, the rest of the schedule, but just saying the next 3 games, you get the 2 games at home against Seattle and Philly, and then you travel to Buffalo. And as I'm looking at this schedule, that is about the only game that I go, damn. I was hoping we could flip one of those. I was hoping we could put Buffalo week 5, San Fran week 15. because you got to go to Buffalo in December. Yeah, I don't like that. Don't like that. Weather, snow, it's going to be freezing. Dallas is going to be, being at home 3 games in a row was wonderful. But that culture shock that you're going to get from being in Texas to going to Buffalo, it's going to suck a little bit. But then right after that, they go on the road to Miami. So this is kind of the part of the schedule that is like, you finish the season 3 or 4 games on the road. You got Buffalo week 15 at Miami, which is fine because you're going to Miami, but another good team. And then you get at Washington to end the season, which you hope doesn't mean much. We'll see. Good thing about getting Miami to week 16, you don't have to deal with the humidity and deal with that weather at the beginning of the season. And then don't sleep on week 17. The Detroit Lions, to me, schedule-wise, is this year's version of the Jaguars. When we did this last year and we were kind of at this point, I remember it vividly because the Jaguars sucked. The Urban Meyer thing and all that, but they hired Doug Peterson, they added more players, and I was like, hey, man, the Jaguars are going to be a team to deal with. This ain't going to be a walk in the park. Well, Detroit's a little easier to see that because they were on the brink of playoff success. They almost went to the playoffs, and they rattled off so many wins at the back end. They're a tough team. They played the Cowboys tough. Week 17 is going to be a tough game at home against Detroit, a rematch of a really competitive game, Dak Prescott's first game back. So this schedule, I know it's not the easiest. I believe it's tied for third in strength of schedule, third toughest. But the word that I have here is battle tested. Heading into the playoffs, the Cowboys will be battle tested. That last stretch, those 6 games you see at the bottom there, Seattle, Philly, Buffalo, Miami, Detroit. There is no sigh of relief. There is no, all right, I can breathe now. There is no take your foot off there's none of that. All these teams will likely be vying for playoff spots. All these teams will likely be good enough to be in the playoffs. So I'm okay with it being a tough schedule, especially towards the end, because now we can go into, hopefully, you're going into the playoffs with some confidence of beating these teams. And that's really the number one thing for me. It's been the number one thing for me for years for the Cowboys. Well, Sky, how many wins? That doesn't matter to me. They'll win double digits. They'll vie for the NFC East. How are you playing to end the season? What are you doing to end the season? Are you building on top of things? Are you taking your foot off the gas? And if we go beyond the actual play, how healthy are you? How healthy are you going into the playoffs? Because we saw last year, Terrence Steele went down towards the end of the year, and that changed things in regards to how the Cowboys could run from a successful and efficient standpoint. So, health and your level of play to end the season. Usually those last 4 games is what I'm looking at. So we're talking, not really going to count Washington, but we're talking really Philly to Detroit. And that Washington game is kind of a toss-up. So I will ask Cowboy fans, because it's okay for y'all to do it. For me, it's just like I'm over giving a number. What in May 16th, 2023, what do you have the Cowboys record finishing as? One of the most popular answers I've been seeing and hearing has been 12-5, which would be 3 consecutive years of 12-5. Now the Cowboys did something last year that they hadn't done since the 90s. They won back-to-back double-digit wins, and they went back-to-back playoffs. So can they make it 3 times in a row? I think they'll make it 3 times in a row that they get to the playoffs, and 3 times in a row that they'll win double digits. Nowadays, you have 7 teams that can get in. I believe the Cowboys will be a top 7 team in the NFC. Like, I'll be shocked if they're not. So I got them going back to the playoffs, and I do have them winning double-digit games. So here we go. 14-3 seems to be the high here. All in Splendid Poppy, they can only play 17 games, so it can't be 15-3. Mo 10-7. I feel you, so over it. I feel you. 12-5 says Mark. Sir Lawrence 13-4, 14-3. 12-5. CT said, look, man, 17-0, dog. I hear you. 12-5, 3 years running, says Lando. 12-5 just seems to be the most comfortable spot to kind of fall in here. Because think about it. The Cowboys always lose a game they had no business losing. They'll win a game they had no business winning, and that'll even out. So could I see 5 losses on here? Sure. I don't think it's a bad reflection on the team. You're going to lose games. It's going to happen. Now, if they go 14-3, 15-2, that is unprecedented territory. The Cowboys have never won, if I'm not mistaken, 14 games. Extra games, so it's possible. But I believe their all-time high in the regular season is 13 wins. So if they can reach 14 wins, you're on to something. 13-4, 12-5, Super Bowl champs, Jose. Well, I definitely don't even throw that word around until we see them play at the very damn least. The very least. James said, I just don't understand how people think the Eagles are universally better than the Cowboys. They struggled beating us twice. They barely beat Cooper Rush, and they took that L with Dak like always. So, but James, you got to understand, right? They went to the Super Bowl. You know how it is. In reality, the Cowboys and Eagles are not far off, I don't think, from a team standpoint. Front office, you can argue that however you want, but on the field, yeah, the Cowboys and Eagles are going to battle it out. They're not just this juggernaut that the Cowboys can't compete with. No team in the NFC is a juggernaut that the Cowboys can't compete with. No team on this schedule, to me, is a juggernaut that the Cowboys can't compete with. I think I heard somewhere, and please correct me if I'm wrong here, the Cowboys are favored in 12 games right now in May. But I believe 12 games they're favored in. So that tells you the league also, or the betting people, believe that the Cowboys are one of the better teams in the league. So, look, Philly, I get it. Congratulations. You went to the Super Bowl. But Daniel Jones and Josh Johnson, I mean, what are we talking about? I'll leave it at that. Hey, we got Charlie Murphy on the horn. Not the Charlie Murphy, but this Charlie Murphy. What's good, Charlie?
What's up, man? How you been doing, bro?
I've been great, man. Been great. How you doing?
Yeah, man. Chilling at work. I'm just listening to your show like I always do. I was watching some other show this morning, or like little YouTube video.
Yep. And
it was a smaller channel that's trying to grow, but basically it was breaking down our entire off season, and he was saying something of like, the Cowboys are going nuclear, and I mean, besides the kicker position, I think I agree, man. I think that our defense looks like a juggernaut ready to go. I really don't see any weakness at all like on the defensive side of the ball. And I think off-ball linebacker, like, yeah, we don't have like, a Bobby Wagner there or nothing, but I feel like that's the position on defense that is the least important, you know what I mean? Like, you could fill in a decent to good off-ball linebacker there, and if you have talent around it, like, I'd rather have the elite corner.
You got decent to good talent at off-ball linebacker. The issue with off-ball linebacker really isn't just starters. With Jonathan Hankins and Mossy Smith in front of LVE and Damone Clark, you've got the experience, the football IQ in LVE, and you've got that athletic freak in Damone Clark, who is a hard worker. So you can absolutely, get by with those two. The issue is if one of those guys goes down, or when, in regards to LVE, the depth. Yeah. The depth is kind of the question mark there. But there is no hole in your defense. At least your starting defense. There's no hole. Not one.
No, at all. Even safety, like, there's no hole. Like, you can go as
Cowboys
far back as you want to Marquise Bell.
Cowboys got one of the best safety rooms in the league.
And deepest, too.
But safety rooms. Not starters. Safety rooms. I'm including the whole room. Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. So obviously, I think we're going to be a defensive-led team and everything. Even better than last year's defense, for sure. I don't think we're going to get as gassed as we got, because I feel like after the Cooper Rush stunt, where our defense carried Cooper Rush. I don't care what anybody says. The defense carried Cooper Rush. That man
Anybody
had less than 100 yards thrown against the
disagrees
Rams.
with that
bro.
is just I don't think anyone should disagree with that one. But yeah,
It's all the Dak haters that disagree with it. But yeah, so I think the defense is even going to be better than that and better than the Eagles' defense. My only question is, with the offense, are we going to have – is Luke Schoonmaker going to be an upgrade over Dalton Schultz, younger and cheaper? Is he, in your eyes, an upgrade over Dalton Schultz?
I think Jake Ferguson and Luke Schoonmaker will eventually be an upgrade, or at least I'm willing to take that chance. I can't be phony and say they will be right off the bat, but I was more confident Ferguson being that guy in year 2. But I think the combination of them two, you'll be an upgrade in the run department. I'll say that.
Okay.
But tight end's tricky, man. Tight end year 1 tight ends don't normally come in and just what didn't Dalton get 2 years ago? 800 yards, 8 touchdowns. Like, I'm not really looking for.
Yep.
I don't think any of those guys are going to do that. But maybe from a blocking standpoint, there's an upgrade, and you take kind of a downgrade in the passing department year 1, maybe year 2. Then the passing game goes up. But I'm not putting, although you can if you want to, because he was a second-round pick. But I'm not putting the weight of the world on Luke Schoonmaker's shoulders year 1.
No. I agree. I'm not either. I think the passing aspect of Schultz can be replaced in terms of, all right, well, we got Brandon Cooks in here now, so let's upgrade that spot. Slightly maybe downgrade the receiving area of Schultz. But then again, you also, like, year 2 Ferguson with a stout blocking tight end with Schoonmaker, I think that'll be perfectly fine. The running back room, we'll see how that fills out. I think Dak's about to light it the hell up, so I'm on a rant right now, but I don't want to take too much of your time. I was on a rant. So, but yeah, man, you have a good rest of your day, bro. I just wanted to chime in with being a biased Cowboy fan right now. So, love you, brother. Have a good day, man.
Appreciate you, Charlie. Hey, man, look, this is the time for optimism, and a lot of we're going to be biased. Look, I said this before. The Cowboys could have forfeited the draft, and I still would have been just as confident about this team because of the moves that they made in the offseason. Oh, but they did not forfeit the draft. They went out, and I think they had a pretty solid weekend. And one of those who was covering the weekend and did a fantastic job covering the Cowboys over the weekend is Miss Aisha Morrison, ladies and gentlemen, who we have on the phone. What's good, Miss Aisha?
You always gotta make a scene, man. You always gotta make a scene when I come in. When I come on.
You just knew I was gonna play it now.
Man, listen, it's my theme song at this point.
Yes,
I gotta learn how to dance so I can do the dance.
Oh, you mean to tell me you can't do the dance? Come on now, that's a crime.
Y'all, don't treat me bad, but I'm not that coordinated. How you doing this morning? How's everyone?
I'm doing fantastic. The chat is lit. They live and they are cooperating with you boys. So we doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. Hey, I heard you talking about confidence in the team, man,
Yeah.
and I can tell you that you can feel that from the staff. You can feel that from some of the veteran players I was able to catch up with. There is a feeling of, I think that they feel like they got something good, and they've worked for it. I think they've kind of built up to what they have right now. So I think there's nothing wrong with fans feeling a little confident and optimistic. Don't let nobody take you. Enjoy the ride, man. Enjoy the ride.
I feel the same way. I think, and I'm one that gets on if we're talking about the totality of the offseason, I'm the one that gets on Catboy and the front office for not being aggressive and making moves that you see around the league. And they did that. Mm-hmm. That was really the one missing piece to me to kind of help put your team over the hump. And when they did that, like I said, Aisha, I didn't give a damn what they did in the draft for real, if we're being honest, because I felt they can go out there and play right now, compete with the best in the league. But they did go into the draft, and I think they came away with some very intriguing players.
Yes, and I mean, it's so funny because when you look at the draft, I feel like early on in the draft, we mentioned Mozzie we kind of heard his name, come up a couple of times. But I feel like we convinced ourselves, everyone convinced ourselves, there's no way they're getting the DT in the first round. There's no way.
Right.
And then they did it. And that just kind of, to me, shows the, just the turn of the tide to me personally. Like, hey, no, like this is something that we know can improve our defense, where you've got knocked out of the playoffs a couple of times, not being able to stop the run. And at one point in time, they just said enough is enough. And then when you look around the NFC and you look at the competition, we talked to Brian Schottenheimer, really dope. Shotty. Had the opportunity to finally talk to him.
Yeah.
And he's so cool, man. He's so cool and smooth, and he brings a lot of energy. He brings a lot of energy to the game, and Mike Solari as well. So I think also too, you can see with Schoonmaker and with the addition of Lufke and those guys, you kind of see what they want to run the ball and be successful doing it, but they definitely want to take the top off with the addition of Brandon Cooks, and you see CeeDee Lamb working his tail off, dude. I mean, the route running from him seems like it's going to improve also, so I'm excited for him as well.
Let me take you back to the first round pick. You brought him up, Mozzie Smith. You're down there. You're at the Star most of the days, and during the first round, you guys were doing a draft show. Did Brian Broaddus reach over to you, tap you on the shoulder, and say, "Hey, you might want to be looking out for this Mozzie Smith right here"? When did it start getting wind down there at the Star that this could potentially be the pick?
Listen, man. Let me tell you something. Like, the draft is so crazy because, as I said before, like, I don't think that any of us really knew like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the cool thing about it. And I think that's something that's different than maybe years past. Is like, they were pretty, I feel like the Cowboys are pretty close to the chest about, who they were really looking at. Because no one guessed Mozzie besides, of course, which was I
wanted Mozzie.
Go ahead,
I wanted Mozzie Smith. But I was like, come on, Dallas don't draft defensive tackles that early. So I just kind of gave up the hope on that. And when they drafted him, I lost my damn mind.
I can tell you, man, like, when you also look at the draft class and you look at the last couple of draft classes, a few exceptions if you want to go that far, is that their character also really matters to these guys. I can tell you that being around this team, the small amount of time I've been around it, I don't know what other Cowboys locker rooms were like, but these guys like each other. These guys are connected, and you can see that chemistry on the field, obviously, but you can feel it. And I think that Mozzie also, too, he's a good young man.
Yeah.
He's a good man. He's a man of character. And one thing about the draft picks also, you're not going to have to tell them to work. You're not going to have to worry about Demarion Overshown working. You're not going to have to worry about Schoonmaker working. Like, you can hear, you're not going to have to worry about Junior Fehoko working. Like, you can see that work ethic and just their character was a big reason why, and super high motor are the reason why they were brought in. So there's a collective, you know how we always say with tight ends, like they have a type. I think that they have a type as far as character and what is this guy coachable? Is he? Because it looks like they also too are cool with drafting guys that are a little raw, that they can mold, and that's something I think is unique, and I think that also speaks to the coaching staff and how much confidence they have in their ability to get the best out of players so far. So I'm looking forward to see what they do this year.
Let's be honest. We don't want to hear this term, but this is exactly what it is. They're drafting the right kind of guy. Am I right? They are. They're drafting the right kind of guy. But their version of right kind of guy isn't, hey, he's a saint. It's, does he love football? And that's kind of always what it's been when the other guy was here, JG. Do they love football, and will they do what it takes to stay on the field and get better on the field? And it seems like all these guys have that in them. And you talked about, what you see. So I want to talk about what you did see down there at rookie minicamp. Right. And let's stick with Mozzie for a quick second here, if you don't mind.
That's just a big human.
Yes, I was about to say, you called Mozzie a unit. You said that he's just a unit, man. I call him a house. He's a house. He's a unit. He's a big guy. But did you notice if they did anything with his stance? Because that was a big deal, right? Hey, we're going to mess with his stance a little bit because he was more square than anything.
Yeah, so let me go ahead and temper expectations. Rookie minicamp, rookie minicamp is as the coaches said to us, it's a lot of install. It's teaching these gentlemen, kind of getting them in the habit of what an NFL practice feels like, the intensity, the timing of it. Like they did drills and stuff like that. So let me say, like, I'm not gonna sit up here and act like they did anything special from what I saw, but you can just see, like, even in his stance, I didn't see anything different, I guess, because they were just doing drills. But you can just see his power and his explosiveness off the line when the whistle is blown. And, I mean, he's just a powerful-looking dude.
Yeah.
I can't – it's crazy to think that he's going to get bigger or put on his grown man body. Like, excuse me?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
I can't get over the story that Pat I got out of him where I guess he was dangling kids upside down, shaking change out their pocket. That's wild. You know, as long as he's a bully on the field, I'm good with that.
And it's so crazy because he has to have a switch.
Yeah.
Because when you meet him in person, I mean, he's just this kind, like, Care Bear looking dude, and then you see him on the field, and you're like, this dude is not afraid of anything, especially against the run. Like, I asked Coach Dirty on the draft show to kind of talk about when we had the opportunity to interview him. Y'all go check that out. Just the uniqueness of being able to stop the run, and that, because I felt like a lot of fans were not down on the pick, you know, but just like, I mean, this guy just stops the run, and I'm like, y'all don't understand the significance and being able to have a feel to stop the run. It takes skill, and we've seen it from DeMarcus Lawrence for such a long time. I think it goes undervalued, but it's not, especially in this league right now. Being a true, like, having a true nose tackle is power, in my opinion. It's power, and it really puts the kibosh on your defense. So he's a piece that I think was essential to what they want to do moving forward.
Hey, there's another dude that you brought up and talked to me about that I was shocked that he kind of was one of the first guy you actually mentioned that popped out, and that was Isaiah Land. You used the word star. And I was like, oh, yeah, really? And I know they trying to work him at some linebacker?
Yeah, so I touched base with Isaiah Land, really great kid. Again, we talk about the work ethic. Dan Quinn talked about him catching his eye when he went to go see Marquise Bell. And let me say that also excites me because I like the fact that the Cowboys aren't shying from taking guys from smaller schools, looking at the HBCUs. These guys deserve a chance as well. So Isaiah Land, he is, to me, he stayed at FAMU for all 5 years, all 4 years. And contrary to it, this gentleman had offers to Georgia. This guy had offers to SEC schools. So you understand that the talent is there. You see him, and like, I'll tell you firsthand, I was one of the folks that said he was undersized because, too, for a DN, he is, like, weight-wise, you would say, like, he's undersized. But when you see him, man, he has a presence to him, dude, and he's a unit. I mean, he's built. This isn't some little dude, even though he can put on size, and you can definitely see his bend is insane, and natural athleticism. Again, they were just running drills. But again, like, I wanted to get kind of a feel for these gentlemen and see, because there's I don't know, he has a quality to him that he's confident and he knows what he can be. And also, too, I think that he was really excited to be able to be with DQ and stuff because I think he understands they're going to get the best out of him. And that's something that I think this defense is built. The guys are proud to come and be a part of it's not just because of the star to me anymore. This coaching staff, especially on the defensive side of the ball, has been put together in a way that guys can come here and make something out of their career. They can get better. They can get the proper coaching. And we might see things from them that maybe we didn't expect before. And Isaiah Land's one of those guys that I think that they have a legit plan for, and he can have a lot of upside as he continues to grow.
Yeah, Land falls into that category of versatility that Dan Quinn was talking about trying to find out down there at rookie minicamp. In his impromptu
Yeah.
presser, which you were down there, obviously, asking some
Yeah.
fantastic questions, by the way. He mentioned trying to see if some of these guys have that dual threat ability. Land is not the
Yeah.
biggest guy in the world, 6'3". I think he goes 230-ish. So I think he wanted to say, hey, what can he do at linebacker? The other one
Yes.
was Overshown. And on Friday, Aisha, I had this little watch list of items that I wanted to kind of keep an eye on down there. And one of them was, what are the Cowboys coaching staff, what are they going to do with guys like Overshown that can do a bunch of different things? Are they going to work strictly with linebackers? Is he going to move to the defensive line? Is Joe Witt going to get his hands on him? Did you get a chance to check out Overshown and where they were putting him at? And when I say putting him, I don't mean, because this is not practice, right? It's not crazy practice.
Right.
But who was he working with?
So he's, if I'm not mistaken, he's been doing work. He's been working with the linebackers, but he's also, we heard Bones Fossil talk about what he thinks he can do on special teams. Even so, I think that's something that I think that us as analysts, I know that I didn't realize, there are quite a few gentlemen that played special teams last year, and a Luke Gifford and that you lost and that you have to account for. And I think they have a vision for him. Bones Fossil spoke about the fact that DeMarvion immediately he thinks can have impact on teams. But from the linebacker position, your guess is as good as mine of what their exact vision for him is. I do know though that when we talked to sorry, my kitten is getting me. But when we talked, man, listen, when we talked to one of the coaches, I think the assistant linebacker coach, when we were doing the draft show, I think they do have some vision for him as well, like we talked about at rushing the passer at times. And I'll tell you about DeMarvion is that he's just such a humble dude, and again, the work ethic is there, but his length is real. I'll tell you that. Again, they're doing drills, and you can't, but the athleticism and some of the little, the instincts, as fast as he can move to the ball and stuff, and you can see that, and you can see the length. You see some of the things that they like from him and why he was brought in.
Yeah, what's what I designated him as? The wild card. Because he just oozes talent, but doesn't fit in a box. So if Dan Quinn can figure something out with him, he could potentially be the wild card. And when I say wild card, he could potentially have a role this year, or it might take a year. And you might not see it all click for him until the next year. But something I want to ask you that I noticed, and just through interviews and just through, watching him, he has this Micah Parsons-like enthusiasm. He has this Micah Parsons-like love for the game and love to be a Cowboys from the Dallas or the Texas area. He said, two things you want to grow up and be is a Texas Longhorn player and a Dallas Cowboy, and he was both of them. So there's this kind of Micah, and I know we get a comparison from Micah for his play, but I mean the enthusiasm, the want to. If he has that, then he'll figure it out. I don't care what they'll do. It seems like he'll figure it out.
Oh, yes, and you can actually, it's very similar to how I feel about Isaiah Lamb too. Like they both have that. Just coach me, just teach me, and I'm going to do my job. And when you talk about DeMarvion, I was very adamant on the draft show about expressing the fact that, because a lot of people felt like that about DeMarvion. It's like, this dude, just like you said, he oozes talent, but they did so many different things with him in Texas that you ask yourself, like, what is he? What is this dude? What can he do? Yeah. How are they going to use him? And, DeMarvion went through several coaching changes when he was in Texas, several scheme changes when he was in Texas. And I'm not sure if they ever found, maybe his senior year, a set thing for him to be. I think it's so important, like you said, that DQ, I know for a fact, has a specific role shaped out for him. And once that happens, I think he's going to thrive. I think he'll thrive, and someone and coaches supporting him and giving him specific tasks so he can get better and perfect those. And I think once he knows what he's looking at and he can play free, he can be a dominant player.
Aisha, maybe one of my most favorite moments throughout the draft process. You guys did a lot of fantastic interviews, man. I just can't tell you how great and insightful those were. But my favorite one might have been when Coach Floyd was asked about, I guess you guys asked him about, what are you going to do on defense? What are some of the things that you guys are looking for with basically Viliami Fehoko? So we'll get to that in a second. But can you tell us kind of what you took away from Coach Floyd in that interview with him, and maybe what he is going to do with Fehoko and the Mozzis of the world?
Man, listen, it seems like they want to be, it's so cliche, but they want to be physical. Like they want to be physical, they want to be fast, and they want to be multiple. That's one thing that I definitely gathered too. And I asked Dan Quinn about that the other day. Was like, listen, most offenses thrive on the idea of being multiple, being able to throw out multiple packages. But for a defensive coordinator to have so many different guys he can throw out on matchups and specific, like matchup specific players, it's unique in a sense. I mean, even when you look at Izzy last year, Israel Mukwamu, like him coming in as a slot, out of nowhere and able to be, very productive there in those playoff games, to me just shows what they want to continue to do is surprise you. And I think one thing about the defensive line also, too, they want to be able to throw out different packages, run-stopping packages, pass rushing packages, and it not be a problem. They want to be able to rotate guys out, it seems, and there not be a drop-off. And that's important because, like, when you start getting into the playoffs and you start trying to get deeper into the season, the veteran guys, like, you want to make sure they have fresh legs, and this defensive line is going to allow them to do that. Now, Mr. Floyd specifically said, I want a 3-tech. So when you talk about Junior Fehoko, as a DN, the gentleman, his size and ferociousness as a DN is crazy. Oh, yes, absolutely. And the motor never stops. He's a little bit of a Looney Tune, in my opinion, with how he plays.
Tasmanian Devil. There you go.
Yes. Listen, give me that's actually a good nickname, man. Mm-hmm. Like, he is so always flying to the ball. And so to put him at DT, I think you just get so much. To me, you get a lot of energy from him at DT, and I think that he can successfully. I mean, he played DN and he was successful, but at a DT, I think that he can really be disruptive and cause a lot of issues because the guy has the size, but the speed with his hands and how fast he is off the line. I think it is going to be a problem for centers and some guards with how strong he is, but how fast he can still be. Oof. So Junior Fehoko is somebody that get into just kind of see. I didn't get to speak to him. I was there during the interview, but just seeing his energy too. Another guy that's coachable, high energy, wants to learn, has flexibility. It's so crazy because the NFL to me is changing so much. It's hard to just pin a position on guys because most teams are looking for gentlemen to be able to play across the line of scrimmage.
There was a coach down there, or not coach, I'm sorry, a reporter down there that said, hey, is this league becoming positionless like the NBA? And Dan said, well, in certain cases, there are. And he got into the conversation and he brought up Overshown and Land got brought up. But Fehoko kind of fits in that same mold. And earlier, absolutely, you talked about emphasizing run defense. And Fehoko, to me, has that same tenacity to want to stop the run as DeMarcus Lawrence. And I don't know that you had another defense, strong side defense end, because that's really what Fehoko is, that could do 3-tech things like D-Law. So I kind of looked at him, Aisha, as a potential D-Law replacement. As soon as I was about to tweet it, I was in the middle of I was writing it down. Floyd said, but about a year, we're looking to move him inside the 3-tech. I said, damn, Control-Alt-Delete. I guess he's not going to be DeMarcus Lawrence's, replacement, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
We'll see, but it's so funny because I was I think was it David Moore? No, it wasn't David Moore. Who was that? Was it Todd? It might have been Todd that asked that about team players being positionless, and it was so funny because I think Dan Quinn's funny because I think that he had to say, that's not everybody. I think he had to say that because I think we have to. This is not the norm.
No.
What the Cowboys do defensively is something that Dan Quinn and those gentlemen on that side of the ball have really built. Because like not every team can take a guy and be like, you know what, man, I think you can. I know you're a safety, but
Or put you at linebacker.
yeah, can you play? Listen, I said it last year. You better be a hybrid out here.
Yeah.
Like there, and it's so crazy to think that, like you said, like it is crazy to think that now there are that they are looking for guys that can do multiple things. And even from the linebacker position, DN position, things are changing so much. People aren't so afraid to take those tweeners and work them in and figure out what to do with them.
Hey, and that's always been, and I've admitted that on this show, I've always had trouble with tweeners to really like them. But it was Osa who really kind of made me get away from my bias a little bit. I loved Osa's film at UCLA once we drafted him, and I really dove in him. I said, oh, this guy has something to him. He got a twitchiness to him at 3-tech. But they didn't really view him as a guy that they're going to move around, so I was okay with him being 3-tech. Fehoko,
right.
What I love about him is that run, man. He can just, he's just tenacious when it comes to stopping the run, and really tenacious when getting after the pass rusher. I don't think he's got a bunch of tools in his bag, but he's going to give the tackle or the guard or the center a lot of fits. So I was pretty okay with that one.
They want to stop the run. If you didn't notice,
yeah.
If you didn't notice, they are very adamant about being able to stop the run, but also being able to throw out packages and rush the passer definitely here. So, yes.
So one thing about rookie minicamp, Aisha, and by the way, y'all, if y'all don't know Aisha Morrison, co-host of Girl Talk, Boy Talk, and also co-host of the Cowboys Draft Show, did phenomenal work down there this offseason and continues to do so. One thing about the rookie minicamp is that you get sometimes second and third year players that will come out that didn't play much and get some work in with the guys. Last year, you had like guys like Danucci would go out there. You had guys like Simi Fehoko would go out there. This year, there's a couple names that you brought up. One of the names was actually a surprise. I don't know if he was doing anything or you just said this dude looks like a unit as well. And I'm talking about Chauncey. You said Chauncey Golston looked bigger. I said, how, Sway? I mean, he already looked big last year, but you said Chauncey is out there with him?
No, yeah. So I mean, no. So some of the gentlemen, they just came to the to the office to get some work, to get treatment. Some of them actually, like they want to be present during the off season, and I just was able to catch up with Chauncey, and I'm a Hawkeye fan, so he and I always catch up. And first thing I seen him, I said, "What are you doing? Like, what was you doing in the off season? Like, dude, you're huge." And he's just lean, man. He's just so lean, and it's so crazy because I was talking to him and I was saying, like, Dan Quinn almost created, like, Chauncey Golston, which is crazy because when you look at a lot of the 3-tech type guys that were drafted this year or even like the junior, when you look at Chauncey Golston and Junior Fehoko, they're built almost the same. And that to me is crazy because when Chauncey came in, I think we were under the impression he would be the tank replacement, like we talked about, right? Like and DQ saw something in him. Coach Dirty saw something in him from the DT position. And I mean, I'll tell you, I don't know if my eyes are lying to me, but I felt like that gentleman was far more dominant and successful at the DT position than he was at DN. And it's the size he's put on definitely makes him an issue because similar to Junior, dude, I mean, if he has the size to be able to deal with the punch of those guards and centers, but he has the speed to get upfield and to go make the tackle. And it's just, to me, I know that's so random, but it's just so crazy to me that I feel like DQ really designed him to be, what the DT conversation is right now as far as relevancy. When you look at the draft, so many of the guys that are DNs that have the possibility to play DT, they're built just like Chauncey. And I just thought that was so interesting that DQ was like, no, we see something else in you. Let's go ahead and get some size on you and see what you can do in the middle of the defense. And I expect for Chauncey to have opportunity this year to continue to play and show what he can do, because he made a difference when he was on the
when
field.
he got a chance. Yeah, I think he's the perfect 5-tech, 3-tech guy. Not necessarily, rush defensive end, but whenever they decide to go kind of odd front, he can handle the bigger tackles or deal with the guards to free up maybe the linebackers behind him, because he has that ridiculous length to kind of, peek and shed a little bit. But he came on towards the end of the season last year, and he also, whenever he played, a decent amount of snaps, he kind of made his presence felt from time to time. So I'm looking forward to Chauncey Golston kind of maybe sliding in and getting a little bit more tick this year. It's a deep line down there, and it's going to be tough for those guys to break it, including Junior. I know we're excited about Junior, but those veterans are not going to make it easy on them.
No, the competition is going to be serious. But you know what, though? Those veterans are going to make room, because once you start getting late into the season, they're definitely going to want those fresh legs from these young guys are what's going to help put you over the top. It's what's going to help put you over the top when you start going into the playoffs. Absolutely.
Another guy you brought up, that a second-year player who we've heard a lot about and we've criticized, and rightfully so. He's taken the criticism, was Jalen Tolbert. You said you noticed that there was his mannerisms was different. His confidence seemed to be flowing through him a little bit.
Yeah, listen, man. Cowboys didn't take a wide receiver until late, and to me, that spoke to number one, they were drafting as though Brandon Cooks is a draft pick, so I get that also. But to me, there's a confidence in Jalen Tolbert, to take that next step. And I've been around Jalen a few times, and I didn't get the chance to catch up with him this weekend, but you can just feel, again, that this guy has a confidence to him. I know we've been seeing him in the backyard. We've been seeing him do work. And I just think Jalen's one of those other situations, like when you look at the league, so many of the guys that have come in have just been successful right away. And I think sometimes we don't give grace to players that need the time to adjust to what the NFL is like. This is a big change for a lot of guys. Yeah. And these are young men. I just think sometimes we get caught up in the football side of things. We don't realize how drastically these guys' lives have to change. And I think in fairness, he had to adjust to that. And now that he's comfortable, we'll see what he's able to contribute to this offense. But I can tell you that given how they drafted, there must be some confidence in what he can be. And I've seen what he can be. And that's what was the most frustrating for me, is like Jalen, when he's confident, he's a playmaker. He's talking mess in people's faces, like listen, this guy he got an attitude to him. He had an attitude to him, and if he can get that back, and he can be if he can really be that third, fourth receiver, I think then you're cooking with gas, and your offense is going to be even harder to beat.
Man, that is not a lie when it comes to the confidence. One thing that I'm learned and still learning is how to observe, guys at practice or camps or what have you. And Jalen Tolbert was a guy I got a chance to catch up with, and I was watching him purposefully prior to that so I can, know what to say to him or what have you. And I noticed the confidence didn't seem to be there, and I wasn't sure why, because there wasn't competition really in front of him. And when I got a chance to talk to him, and then you heard what he said after the season, he basically was like, "Look, man, there's levels to being a professional, and I just didn't have it all down pat." And we never got a chance to see him put it on the field like a la Michael Gallup. People forget Michael Gallup struggled early in his career. He just had a guy to kind of show him the way. And that guy was Allen Hurns, who had been around the league for a bit, where that wasn't the case in Dallas. There was no Amari Cooper. CeeDee Lamb was still trying to figure it out. So, I think Tolbert will be more confident. I think guys like Simi will be more confident. And I think, you brought up earlier, Brian Schottenheimer and Mike McCarthy will allow these guys to play faster and not think as much.
Yes, absolutely. I asked Schottenheimer in our interview, like, is it fair to say that this offense is going to be you're simplifying the offense? And he agreed to an extent, but what I was really trying to ask him, that's really what I was asking him is just, at times, Sky, and you know this, is I think that the offense was far more complex than what it needed to be last year, and simplicity wins in this league. When you look at the 49ers, they're not doing nothing special. No. They're running digs, crossers. They're doing a lot of the basic football stuff. They just have the athletes to do it. And so I think that veering more towards that, and then also being cognizant of what your players do well. We see that on the defensive side of the ball. They're able to get the best out of these guys. I'm hoping that this new offensive staff is able to do the same. Is able to do the same and get the best out of these guys on the offensive side of the ball.
Before I let you go, I almost forgot here. Deuce Vaughn. That's the guy I really was the most excited to hear about, although I know they're not doing a whole lot. But, he's looking to try to make his way via special teams, kickoff return, punt return. He said he was working on catching punts for 3 months or whatnot. I know you saw him down there. How special is that quickness? Is it just as good as it looks via the film?
Well, first of all, let me say I'm 5'1", and
don't do Deuce like that. Don't do it.
I'm a miniature person, man. Listen, and standing next to Deuce, man, I was like, this is crazy. But it just to me spoke to, and I can agree with him on, like, he said, like, I think if I wasn't this size, I wouldn't have went as hard. Like, I wouldn't do what I am. And I feel the same way about myself. I honestly feel the same way about myself. So I definitely agree with him there. But just standing next to him, you're like, this dude got to be a little crazy. Like, this dude got to be, to be his size and to play the way that he plays, he got to be a little nuts. But, Bones mentioned him getting opportunities with punt return and stuff like that. And I can very much so, like, I love me some Kevontae Turpin, but that competition is real. That competition to me is going to be a real thing. And I think Turp better come to play because Deuce is one of those guys that it's difficult to deny him. It's difficult to deny what you see from him. And again, they're just doing drills and stuff, but you just see the foot quickness and the twitchiness and the reaction. Like it again, nothing special because they were just running out there, but at the same time, there's an electricity that you see in his footwork and stuff, and you're like, man, if this dude just gets the ball in space, he's going to make a lot of guys miss and be a problem.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how they decide to incorporate him because I'm with you. I don't think he can be denied, man. You can say you can try to pigeonhole him into special teams, but there has to be some type of role. I don't care if he's touching it 5-6 times. Like, there's got to be some type of role, whether it's in the passing game, whether it's jet sweeps, whether it's getting outside, even though I think he can run in between tackles. Whatever it is, I don't think you can deny the special traits that he has in regards to his elusiveness and quickness. So use that to your advantage. He may not be an every down back. He may not be, a special back like a Bijan Robinson or Zeke coming out or any of those guys, but he has some traits that the Cowboys absolutely could use to their advantage.
Yeah, and one thing about Deuce, and if you look at his film, man, like one thing about Dak last year in this offense, man, is that there were so many instances where he didn't have an escape route. He didn't have a security blanket. He didn't have somebody that could turn 4 yards into 10 or something, and I think Deuce can be a guy that, hey, man, if that first, second, third read's not there, check that mess down and let him go. Let him go. I think that he can be an ultimate security blanket just because of what he's able to do in the open field and obviously the receiving ability. And like you said, I really do hope that they find a way to work him in. Granted, we know special teams is the way, right? Like, guys have to earn their way up into the starting roles. But again, I think that by the time we're at the end of camp, you'll be looking and saying, like, yeah, they got to put him. They have to figure out a way to put him on the field because one other thing, too, is that I think that with the additions that the Cowboys have added on the offensive side of the ball with the Brandon Cooks, with the Deuce Vaughn, obviously you have Tony Pollard as your starter now. The offensive team speed has went up. And I think that's important. I think that's important when you look across the NFL. Some of the most dominant teams offensively, they have speedy guys that can really change the pace. and
Yeah.
make a difference when they come in. And like when you look at the defense, you see how fast they play. We didn't see that from the offense all the time. Not granted, you're not saying you want them to just move fast all the time, but to have speed on that side of the ball, I think is important to counter what defenses are doing in this NFL. And so, yeah, Deuce is somebody that I think could be successful. He could be successful if they gave him opportunities.
Cowboys had one of the least explosive skill set of players. It was Tony Pollard, really, last year, and CD Lamb, but they didn't really use CD Lamb in that manner. But now you get Cooks, who can help take the top off the defense. Now you got Tony Pollard and Deuce Vaughn, in the backfield if they decide to get him involved in that manner. It helped Malik Davis. He gave you a jolt of energy last year. Hopefully they decide to use him if he is on the roster or if he gets incorporated. But, yeah, they needed to add some juice to this offense, and it seemed like they did that with Cooks and then with drafting Deuce. I tell you this, I got to find a way to get like an impromptu picture around Deuce Vaughn so people could be like, oh, Sky bigger than an NFL player, so I don't know why y'all tripping.
Stop it. Stop
cool.
it. Stop it.
Get me around Turpin and Vaughn. If I can get around Turpin and Vaughn, I would feel I'm framing it. Like, look, y'all. Look, let's see how big the NFL players.
Nuh-uh. Like, listen, I have accepted that I'm miniature. We just got to accept it.
I've 100%. I'm with you. Like, just like you said with Deuce Vaughn, it does drive you. You know, being the smallest guy in the football field for most of my damn life, it really was nothing. And honestly, it was bad for basketball because I would take that same energy, put it on the basketball court, and now I'm getting technical fouls all over the damn place. But hey, it is what it is, man.
Not technical. You got a Draymond spirit.
Oh, I was worse than Draymond, fan.
Oh my God, Sky.
Yeah. Hey, look, man.
But
I took that football energy and put it on the court. Wasn't a good mix.
But also, I mean, we didn't talk about Schoon, but Schottenheimer mentioned, and I think it was important, and Lunda Wells talked about it as well. Is like what you're getting with Schoonmaker is a guy that can block all across the line. He can play across the line. I think him coming from a pro level offense really played a big part in why they decided to bring him in, because they consider him like a plug and play guy. It's not too big for him.
Right.
I think the playbook is not too complicated for him to get into. But they also, I think Brian Schottenheimer also mentioned, like, they want to get this guy. They think that he has the speed. They think that he can be a vertical threat as well. So we'll see. I'm more so with Schoonmaker. I really felt like that pick felt like, again, they want to run the ball and be dominant doing that. They want to punish people in the run game, and I felt like that's what I saw from why they drafted him, and what he can be and what he can add to the offense as well.
That pick felt like an identity pick. Like this is the type of identity that we want to be. And
yes, I
just saw pictures, and I said this yesterday, so I'm glad you're here. I want to ask you, is this dude bigger than what we think? Because I saw a picture and I said, This is the tight end? We sure this ain't a defensive end?
What's so crazy is that when I first walked up and they were interviewing him, I was like, oh, he's not as big as when I thought. And then once I actually stood next to him, I said, oh no, this is a big human. I said, wait, never mind. This is a pretty big human. No, he's a big guy.
Yeah.
He's a big guy.
And being he is older. I know we joke about that a lot here. He's older. He's more mature. But I think that's going to probably help him in weight room and in dealing with some of the big guys, because he's already got his kind of grown man. I got 2 kids and a mortgage body.
Not a mortgage, no. That
put a different stress on your body. You develop a callus, in on the interior when you're dealing with all that stress. So I think he got a lot of stress that he done already dealt with. So.
Not stress. Nah, Michigan wasn't playing. They were like, you gonna know how to block, and you gonna be blocking a lot of big people, so you might need to be bigger. This dude here,
yeah.
And I mean, very similar to Sean McCune when he came out. Sean McCune, I like let's not forget, like he put Chase. Is it Chase? Chase and the gentleman that plays edge for the Commanders.
Oh yeah. It's Chase.
Yeah. He put him in a seatbelt for most of the time when they played. Like Michigan emphasizes their tight ends being able to block and being able to be physical. So I see, and like you said, you felt like it was an identity pick.
Yeah.
I do also feel like Schoonmaker was kind of identity. Hey, we want to be physical, like I said, and we want to be able to run the ball. But he also, like we talked about, he has receiving qualities as well, so he fits the mold.
Yeah, man. You brought up McEwen, and you know we'll be revisiting some of the battles that we'll have in camp. That one's going to be fun. The McEwen with the tight ends and the McEwen against the Fants and the Lipkes of the world. That's going to be fun. And I got to get you back on to talk more about that, Aisha, because this has been absolutely fun. Absolutely fun. Somebody in the chat, this is what they said. They said, twin talk with Sky and 2I.
All right, that's kind of cool.
That's kind of dope. I ain't going to hold you. That's kind of dope. That's kind of dope.
People know why we call each other twins.
No, I did. I mean, they could look. I mean, they see. Yeah.
It ain't just because we light skin out here. Come on.
But they don't know the other aspect of it, because see, if y'all were there at what game? I don't know what game that was. It was you and Jess.
The Philly game.
Yeah,
I think
Philly
I
game. Okay. It was you and Jess and Matt was there. Then it was me and obviously Jesse Hiley, and we found our doppelganger female versions of ourselves, where Jess and Jesse literally just sit there and they're, all right, second down, that was a sack, and they're just writing notes and stuff. And we just running around, going crazy, chest bumping, just snapping out. And they looking at us like we crazy. But I'm like, y'all, look, this is
taking notes. They taking notes. They calm, like, nah, but like also too, you're the first person I met I've only met like 3 people who have the same birthday as me.
That's another reason. Yep. That's another reason. Yep.
In order. Somebody said we look just alike.
Yeah,
bye. I'm about to go.
I'm about to hang up. Get out of here. Now, appreciate y'all, Aisha. Make sure y'all check out to Aisha on Girls Talk, Boys Talk, and the Draft Show. When are y'all recording your next episode for Girls Talk, Boys Talk?
So we will be recording our next show at 10, I believe, on Thursday. So we're just going to be weekly, once a day until we shut down before camp. And then, man, football is upon us. It's happening fast.
It is.
It's going by fast.
What we got? We got not minicamp coming up next week.
Yes,
All
we
right.
do. We have OTAs and stuff coming up soon.
OTAs.
So
there we go. OTAs.
Yes, I'll be pushing out what I can and talking to these gentlemen and getting a feel and just getting ready for the season, man. It's starting to feel more real every other day. So let's get it.
Well, let's get you back on and let's talk about OTAs next week if we can.
All right, sounds good, man. Thank y'all for having me on. everyone have a good day.
Appreciate you, 2I. And before you go, to Aisha, y'all. Make sure y'all check her out. Follow her on all social medias. And, of course, on .com. Man, that was fun. That was absolutely fun. Had a good time. And look, I'm hoping y'all understand just how insightful she is and can be for the community, because she is boots on the ground. She knows what the hell she's talking about. She puts in the work. So we're going to definitely continue to try to include her in this community and give her her flowers. Doing an absolute fantastic job down there. And maybe I'll try to take a trip down to the Stars, see if I can get some eyes down there in my dang on self. But if not, she can be the eyes for us. And then, of course, on Thursday, we'll get our guy Pat Walker in as well. Good stuff. If you enjoyed that, please do me a favor. Drop the fire emojis in the chat. And while y'all doing that, we'll take a quick little break. We'll get to the phones, finish out the show. Let's talk about Boston Scientific, though. ED can affect your self-esteem and impact your most important relationships. And if you've tried pills or any other type of solution and it has not worked, boom, there is hope. Take a free online assessment that you can share with your doctor. Click the ad to learn more. There's a permanent, satisfying solution to treat ED. Just visit edcure.org. Get the facts. Find a urologist that can offer different options. You'll be good to go. Again, that's edcure.org, brought to you by Boston Scientific. Say it with me. It ain't hard, but you can be.
You're listening to A to Z Sports.
Do it live.
At some point, hoping to broadcast
In front of the millions.
of Cowboys fans to bring you the real. But for now, strap up and here's your host, Skywalker Steele.
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you.
We'll do it live.
I ain't gonna hold you. Swin Talk with Sky and Two Eyes is pretty fire. Shout out to whoever dropped that. I want to make sure I give you your flowers. That's pretty fire. Oh yeah, 100%. Dallas Cowboys hard. Definitely gonna be a thing. You know, we'll get her on. Kyle, if you are new around here, we try to bring on as many of those guys and gals now that we can, that have that access and are, you know, intelligent in their delivery and know what they're talking about. So we'll get to I on here. We obviously will have a weekly segment with Pat. Before it used to be Dave Hellman, Kyle Yeomans, all those guys, man. All those guys. Appreciate y'all though. So let's jump back into the phone lines. Oh, I am not 5'3". I can confirm that. Y'all really look. I guess I'm 5'1" and 48 years old according to y'all. But no, I'm not 5'3". Let's get OG B Bird in the building. Love hearing from him because I don't hear from him as much anymore. What's good, B Bird?
Hey, what's up, Sky? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Just had a really good interview with Aisha Morrison, and we just killing it, you know.
Great interview, man. I appreciate it. I got a problem with the schedule. Since we're talking about schedule and you my guy, so it seems every year, and somebody may have said this, I'm sorry because I didn't catch the whole show. Why do we end? I feel like we end on the road more times than not. So what I ended up doing is going back looking since Dak's been there. Do you know we only had one game at home to end the year? Reason why I say that is because a couple of things happen. Usually we're playing for something at the end. It's a divisional game, but also when we play on the road, we're playing at Washington, Philadelphia, New York Giants. It's a cold weather game. So I think it's a conspiracy in the NFL to end us to just give us some controversy at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, because it makes no other sense for us to be out of 8 years for us to have 7 road games to end the year. I can see if it was 3 and 5 or
Sheesh, I didn't notice that.
Or 4 and 4. Yeah. And so it's been that way for a while. I just think they like the conflict, like Cowboys going to Philadelphia or going to New York. They need to win this game for this, that, and the other. Why can't that be in Dallas? And nobody else talks about that. But I guess I'm the only one that kind of looks at that stuff because it matters, right? Because it matters weather-wise. It matters just playing in front of your home crowd-wise. And what we're playing for is usually something at stake, especially now it's going to be something at stake. But I just kind of want you to comment on that, man. It's just like that's my thing, man. And I'm going to get off the phone and listen to you later, man.
Oh, I appreciate you, B Bird. That's a hell of a
no problem.
point. I just never noticed. 7 out of the last of his 8 seasons, we're ending on the road. I mean, I know they changed the whole, you know, you're going to play a divisional opponent. Like I remember that, but I had no idea it was 7 of the last 8. That, look, y'all know me. But we've got plenty of conspiracy type of things that we could talk about the Dallas Cowboys. I guess that's kind of fair to put that in the list of conspiracy things, but 7 to 8 is crazy. I don't know why it is that way. They could easily say, damn, dog, we put Cowboys on the road the last 6 years. Let's go ahead and give them a home game to finish it out. But here's to hoping that game does not matter. Here's to hoping. Oh my goodness, Matt Wells. Why would you put that in my head? We might have to change the name, Matt. And seriously, we might have to change the name. Matt Wells, man, that's perfect. He said, man, how do you and No C not have a show called Will Sky and the Science Guy? Yeah! Damn it, that's so good. I really was, look, let me tell you this. I was thinking of a bunch of different names. And trust and believe me, I even try to remix the Bill Nye the Science Guy song, but we got a different intro song for the scientific method, which is hard, by the way. But damn, that's good. But you know what? I wonder if Bill Nye would, he's a Cowboy. He worked for the Cowboys. I wonder if Bill Nye would see that. Vach, that's crazy. But people, only one person called me Bill, but Will Sky and the Science Guy. Oh my God. Matt, I'm about to hit up my graphics guy. Sosa. We about to change this whole thing up, though. Let's get Chris from Alaska. What's good, Chris?
Hey, what's up?
What's going
I
on
just wanted
with
to come on here and talk a little bit about the schedule. In my opinion, I think that we are going to go 14-3. But if we're at top, our best, not like last year where we're dropping these weird ass games, I could see us going 15-2 or better.
Damn.
I think our biggest, I think a person I could see us losing to is Miami, just because of all that speed. I think we can defend it. We just have to see, especially coming off of a Buffalo game. Maybe San Francisco, because Mike McCarthy has a history of not playing play calling very well against them, because they're a tough team.
Which team is that?
San Fran.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, wasn't he coaching against them during the who was it? Jim Harbaugh days?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
I mean, it's still a good defense, but
yeah.
maybe McCarthy,
Yeah,
5 years removed from calling plays, maybe he did some self, evaluation, and we'll see if he comes back similar to Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn didn't finish his tenure in Atlanta with the greatest track record defensively, but he did some self-evaluation, and boom. Now look at it. Dan Quinn is the most coveted defensive coordinator in the league.
You're right. And the other thing I wanted to say, I don't think we're really close between us and the Eagles. The Eagles have a lot of holes on defense. Safety, Lust, Hargrave. You got two running backs that throughout their career have had injuries throughout their career. So, you don't know. They can get injured and can mess everything up. But I can see us splitting games. I can see it happening, but in my opinion, I don't think it's gonna happen. Dak owns them, but you never know. They have a really good offense. And a great run game when it comes to Hurts. But yeah, that's all I wanted to come on and say.
Thank you, Chris, all the way from Alaska. Stay warm, my friend. I hate that I love y'all so much in this chat. What's that meme of the black and white movie? Get out. Get out. All y'all in there cutting up, get out. You're crazy. All right, man, one more and we'll finish off the show here, man. 832, what it do?
Hey, Sky, good morning. How you doing, man?
I'm good, how are you?
Hey, I'm all right, man. Loving the show this morning. I really enjoyed your conversation with the big sister. And y'all having too much fun over there, man.
Living a dream, man. Living a dream.
Yes, very well. Quick. I'll be quickly trying to go. Hey, look, I think a floor for the Cowboy season will be 12 wins, and that is,
I agree.
Like you said, that's more than progress. That's more than progress. It's been a long time since we could say that this team has been consistently good, and that we can have that expectation that they're supposed to be a double-digit win team and a factor come playoff time. So right there tells you we're not as far away as we seem to think, being panic-stricken fans and whatnot. So I would say anywhere between 12 to 14 wins, I would expect the Cowboys to be somewhere around there this season.
I think 12 is fair. I think that's fair because they've won 12 games back-to-back seasons. And think about this for a second. They've won 12 games in back-to-back seasons facing adversity in those seasons. Like real adversity, and still won 12 games. So it's fair to be like, hey, 12 is the baseline.
Right, exactly. And again, the litmus would be last year. They like you said, they faced adversity last year. When was the last time the Cowboys, when they had Tony Romo? Tony Romo went down. the whole season went to hell.
Oh yeah, you couldn't win.
Yeah, yeah, you couldn't do anything. So that's right there tells you they're going to be
except for when Dak got here. Then they start winning. You know, when Tony Romo went down.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Don't start, man.
I'm not trying to start no. I ain't trying to start no mess. Won't start nothing. Won't be nothing. But all I know is the year before that, the backups went 1-11. Then the next year,
I'm like
13-3.
I'm right there with you, man. I'm right there with you. And another thing, I like, you're going in through the chat. I don't know if you've seen it, but a lot of people are worried that with Mike McCarthy, doing some different things, basically just simplifying some things offensively. And your lovely guest touched on it. Dak probably going to just basically have West Coast concepts when it comes to pass the football. And if there's no touchdown, and go to the check down. And some people have complained.
That's one of the biggest sayings for the West Coast is check down, touchdown.
Yeah, exactly. Those things help keep you ahead of the chains. It keeps you on the field offensively, controls the clock, protects the quarterback. All those things I've talked about, in a lot of different avenues. So I'm pleased at you just recognizing that Dak didn't have that option in the offenses because the way they wanted to play offense was always vertical when they were passing the football. So I'm happy to see that's how teams win games. When we talk about these Tom Brady leading all these game-winning drives and things like that, he'll take a check down.
The whole offense was designed around being dink and dunk. Yeah, that was and dink and dunk has turned into a negative unless you're talking about Tom Brady.
Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with that.
Or I should say, game manager. My bad has turned into a negative thing. But in reality, there's been a lot of quality game managers that have won't have success in this league. At some point, you do have to be able to manage a game. At some point, though, you also have to be able to say, all right, let me go out here and win this thing. So there's a middle ground you got to have.
Yeah, you have to, but you do have to. That's how you stay. That's how you sustain drives, and that's how you stay on the field.
Sure.
And that's how you move the ball. And we got to get out of it. We got to learn how to do that. But thanks a lot, man, for taking the call, and have a great day, Scott. Thanks, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you, big dog. Good call. Good stuff there, man. We got some. What you got going on in there? We got some super chats I'm gonna get to in a second, but I want to get to Lauren's comment in the chat. She said. My bad. But said, I'm excited about Eric Scott and Overshown. Do you think the tight end from Tennessee, Princeton Fant, can be a vertical threat? Oh, 100%. 100%. Mr. Princeton Fans could be a vertical threat, but I don't think he's going to make the team. So you hope to kind of get him on the practice squad or whatnot. I know we ain't even seen practice yet, but boy, it's going to be hard to beat out these tight ends or beat out these running backs, I think. For Fant. So, but yeah, if he were to make the team, he'd be a guy who could be another vertical threat for sure. All right, let's get to these super chats, man. Because I wasn't able to get to them during the interview with Tuai and throughout the show. So let's
super chat.
Knock them out. Lord Nova dropped one earlier and said our first loss won't come until week 13. What the hell we playing week 13 at you? Seattle. Huh. Cowboys gonna go 12-0 heading into Seattle. Or no, not heading in. We're gonna be at home, so they're gonna get the dub on Thanksgiving. Says who was that said that? Lord Nova, and then drop the next game. I mean, you know what? That is a fair part of the schedule to be like, I can see them dropping one. Short week. Well, technically they playing on Thanksgiving, which was a short week. Then they play the next Thursday. It's not a bad spot to give a L. Not gonna hold you. Not a bad spot. All right, let's get the Dallas Cowboys hard hitter. He dropped one. Appreciate you.
Super chat.
He said 13-4 is his record prediction. All right.
Super chat.
All in Splendor. He must have had a typo. He said Fat Finger Sky FML 15-2. Would be nice. We don't wipe them 304. Shout out to Chris.
Super chat.
Drop 5 said this team was already going to improve by the growth from the young players, but when you add Cooks, Gilly, and the rookies, we working, sir. Shout out to Marv. Yeah, man. Look, they didn't lose anything in the offseason to me. I think that's the difference between what happened last offseason and this offseason. They lost some players, didn't really replenish that. I think they learned a lesson. Yeah, they got by. They even won a playoff game, but they realized if we want to take the next step, we can't just be stagnant. And they weren't. They went out and got Cooks. They went out and got Gilly, and we'll see what these rookies can do.
Super chat.
Chris Pettigrew said, "Hey, Sky. I can hear you, by the way. Can't miss those shows over there on the volume, man. The volume." And then Brother L dropped one.
Super chat.
Dropped two and said, "This is for the Twin Talk with Sky and 2i. Salute. Appreciate you, Brother L." Whew. Twin Talk with Sky and 2i's fire. Will Sky, the science guy, fire. Y'all are on fire today in the chat, and I appreciate y'all for being who y'all are. If you enjoyed today's show and you have not yet hit that like button, got to hit y'all with the, what are you waiting for, huh? You're just sitting on the couch. You ain't doing nothing with your life. Get up. Do something about it. Hit the like button, please. If you want to be a part of the Fantastic Bomb Squad, if you want to be a part of the comment section, and you don't know how, or you can't because you didn't hit the subscribe button, what you waiting for, huh? You ain't doing nothing with your life. Get up off the couch. Hit subscribe. I hated those commercials growing up, man. And I went to damn school. God damn, I got to go to a different school. This month cussing me out. Yeah, man, if y'all enjoyed everything, please do those housekeeping duties here on the A to Z Sports Live. And that's click the like button, become a subscriber, and be part of the Fantastic Bomb Squad.
Bomb Squad!
That damn Everest College L. Later on, we are back over on the volume. Voch Lombardi live show. Lots to talk about. We got the rookie camp. We got the schedule. We still got, rookies that we're going through. So we got a jam-packed week for y'all. And then Mo will be back on, obviously, for A to Z Sports prime time tonight. Make sure y'all come through. He's constantly dropping some good stuff there. Look, too broke. That's exactly what he was doing to us, yelling at us and telling us to get up. And I'm like, man, am I not doing the right thing with my life? We got to go back. Was the Everest College, was that part of the scandal, the ITT Tech scandal? You got to probably be from, did they have Everest College outside of PA? I don't know. I always saw the commercial in PA. But I know ITT Tech was kind of regional. And they was stealing money. So, yeah. Yeah, Brother L. Yeah. It was a scam? Damn. I didn't know that was a scam, man. It's crazy. All right, I think we're good to go, man. Great stuff. Do me a favor, if you enjoyed the interview with Aisha, run this thing back. I'll probably take some parts of that, repurpose it, drop it when we're talking about certain players. That way you guys can check it out without having to go through the whole show. And we'll do that probably later today or tomorrow. We'll see. But we got a jam-packed show later for you with me and Voch. I'm excited to get back on that show and have some fun. With that said, press this damn button and get up out of here. You said they all scams? Yeah, I mean, I knew ITT Tech was a scam. My bro Josh went to ITT. Why he went to ITT Tech? He was better off going to sell them knives. What was the knife? Was it Vecna or something? I can't talk ish. I've been part of MLMs. One day you'll hear my story. It's maybe you'll hear it when I talk to Okoye this Wednesday. I'm out of here. Love y'all. Peace. Vector. That's what it was. Excuse me, sir. Would you like to buy some knives? Man, if you don't get out my face. They got me though. I bought those knives and I couldn't sell them. I think I might have put them on eBay or something. I was broke.
Bomb Squad!